Tired of staring at screens?
Let audioread.com turn your reading list into a private podcast.
With just 2 clicks, convert articles, PDFs, emails, or any text into audio you can stream in Apple Podcast, Spotify, or YouTube Podcast.
Perfect for multitaskers, podcast lovers, and productivity pros. Use the web app, browser extension, iOS shortcut, or Android PWA to listen anywhere. No installation required.
Highlight, upload, or forward content, and Audio Read does the rest.
audioread.com, or find the link in the show notes.
Hi, I'm William,
And I'm Kat.
and that makes this a dash of info.
Little things you want to know.
So, Kat, I know that we're going to be doing an episode in the future on lost media and stuff like that, and then doing the research for that particular episode. I had a question. The question that I had was, what did we really lose when we lost the Library of Alexandria?
That is a very good question, and one I would love to dive into with you today.
Okay, let's do it. So let me try to set it up real quick. Imagine walking into a place where the air is thick, the scent of parchment and ink, where every corridor is lined with scrolls written in Greek, Egyptian, Persian, Indian, and who knows what other kind of languages were in here.
Right. Now imagine that this isn't just a library, it's the epicenter of human knowledge in the ancient world.
Mathematicians could go and debate the stars and the mechanics. Philosophers could argue ethics. Poets could recite new verses. And astronomers could go and chat about the stars, all under one roof.
This was the dream, and for a time, a reality for the Library of Alexandria.
Now, if you've heard of the Library of Alexandria, chances are it's through the lenses of tragedy, right?
Right. And you probably know the story as a cautionary tale. One fire, one moment, and poof, centuries of knowledge gone.
Yeah. So the greatest library the ancient world ever saw was reduced to ash. But what if that story, compelling as it is, isn't really quite the truth? That would kind of like change everything, wouldn't it?
It would. It would. And what if the real story is more complicated and more human?
Hmm.
Surprise.
Yeah. So let's dig into it, right?
The Library of Alexandria was founded in the early 3rd century BCE during the reign of Ptolemy the First, or his son Ptolemy the Second, successors of Alexander the Great, whose conquests had connected much of the known world.
Yeah. So these rulers envisioned Alexandria not just as a political and economic capital, but also as an intellectual one.
They built a vast institution called the Museo, named after the Muses, the goddesses of art and science.
So the library was part of a grand institution, a place where scholars lived, worked, and, well, pursued knowledge, not for profit or power, but just for the sake of learning. Kind of like what we do here, right?
Right. Now, here's where things get ambitious.
The Ptolemies weren't interested in building just a good little library, right?
Right. They wanted every book in the world.
And they had a system to do just that.
Ships that docked in Alexandria were searched for scrolls.
Yeah, so then these scrolls were taken, copied by skilled scribes, and the originals were kept while the owners received the copies back. How, I mean, think about that. Like, you dock here at Alexandria, we're going to board your ship, we're going to take any scrolls or books that you have, we're going to copy it, we're going to give you the copy and keep the original.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sounds fair,
It,
right?
it sounds extreme, even imperialistic, but it worked.
So estimates vary, but the library itself may have contained anywhere from 40,000 to 400,000 scrolls.
That could be the equivalent of over 100,000 modern books. It was a staggering collection for its time, and I would have loved to see it.
Yeah, I would have too. And I just can't even imagine that.
Me either.
And it wasn't just about amassing text, it was about cultivating community.
Yes. The library became home to some of the brightest minds of antiquity. Eratosthenes, for instance, used the library's resources to calculate the circumference of the earth with remarkable accuracy.
Yeah, he was relatively very close to, we need to do a whole thing on him.
That sounds epic.
Aristarchus of Samos proposed that the earth revolved around the sun centuries before Copernicus.
There were advances in medicine, mathematics, literary criticism, and linguistics.
Scholars from across the Mediterranean and beyond came to work there. It was a melting pot of culture, intellect, and ancient think tanks fueled by curiosity and collaboration.
Oh, I'd love to have been a fly on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's a place where you can just go, I guess, like,
Think and debate and talk about stuff you've seen or heard or learned.
I guess basically just the ancient version of a think tank,
Right.
maybe.
But right. But now let's talk about that fire.
Yeah. So the most famous culprit was, well, Julius Caesar. Why not?
Mm, he's a culprit for a lot of things. In 48 BCE, during a conflict in Alexandria, Caesar ordered the burning of the ships in the harbor to block enemy forces.
Yeah. So the fire spread, and some nearby buildings, possibly warehouses containing scrolls, they caught fire, right?
Right. It's likely that some material was lost, but here's where things get interesting. Historians don't agree that the main library building was destroyed at this point.
Yeah. In fact, there's evidence that it survived, at least in part, for several more centuries.
So if it wasn't one catastrophic fire, what happened?
So the truth is a little bit more messier and a little more tragic.
The library declined not with a bang, but with a slow, agonizing whimper. Political instability played a major role.
So during Ptolemy's the Eighth reign, he purged learning, like any intellectuals prohibited, kind of like what
Right.
Hitler did with the books.
Absolutely. Fahrenheit 351,
Yeah.
In any case, many scholars fled. Over time, state support waned. Scrolls made of papyrus deteriorated.
So think about that. So insects, humidity, and just the sheer
Things
time.
things weren't being upkept anymore or cared about.
Yeah, and over time, like they're just gonna, if you're not paying attention to them or if you're not taking care of them, they're just gonna basically disintegrate or just fall apart.
Absolutely. And while some materials may have been moved to satellite collections like the Serapeum, a smaller temple library, even that was eventually destroyed during religious unrest.
In 391 CE, when the Christian emperor Theodosius ordered the destruction of pagan temples, the Serapeum was targeted, and it too perhaps had its final remnants, kind of like the Library of Alexandria.
Hey, William, I think we should take a break.
Okay, let's do it. Hey, Kat, Old Glory, they've been operating since 1969 and they have over 300,000 items to choose from.
Wow. So we're talking like music or what are we talking about?
We're talking about music, sports, and pop culture gear. And we're not just talking about modern day stuff either. We're talking about bands like the Beatles, Metallica. They have hoodies, tees, gifts, and so much more.
Wow. Do they also do those old nostalgia TV shows?
Not just the TV shows, but the movies as well. And if you know that sports fan, they got you covered there too.
That's exciting. Do we have an exclusive code?
Absolutely, we do. It's called InfoGo. So check it out at oldglory.com. Use our code to get an exclusive 15% off. Don't forget, that's InfoGo, oldglory.com, or just click the link in the show notes.
Hey, William, do you get too hot at night?
Are you kidding? We live in Georgia.
Oh, right. Okay, me too. But I found site cozyearth.com where they make bamboo bedding. It's cooling, breathable, and buttery soft.
Tell me more.
Well, they have a 100-night free trial and a 10-year warranty. And there's also free shipping on orders $50 and above.
Tell me you got an exclusive offer for our listeners.
Absolutely. There's 41% off site-wide with our code INFOGO. And remember, that's cozyearth.com.
Yeah, so make sure you use our code INFOGO at checkout to get that 41% off.
But here's the frustrating part. We don't really know what was lost.
So no complete catalog of the library's holdings ever survived. They weren't on the Dewey Decimal System at this
Right.
particular time, right?
Right. That wasn't even a thing yet. We can't point to a list and say these were the missing masterpieces.
However, scholars agree that many ancient texts referenced by later writers no longer exist today.
These include hundreds of tragedies by Sophocles and Euripides, histories from Persia and India, and possibly as much as 80% of Aristotle's works.
Dang.
Dang.
Yeah, for real, right?
Jinx, you owe me a
Um,
Pepsi.
some of these may have been stored in Alexandria. Others may have simply just disappeared due to time and neglect or just being simply misplaced.
Right. The loss isn't just in individual scrolls, but in the network of knowledge, the collaboration, commentary, and synthesis that the library enabled.
Yeah, yeah, it's tempting to ask, what if it had survived?
I bet it would be beautiful.
But just think about the discoveries.
I
Yeah.
would I would pay big money to be an archaeologist to
And,
discover it again.
and what medicine and mathematics could it be advanced today? Because of if it had survived?
Right, if there wasn't some miasma lingering around. In any case, maybe, or maybe we would have faced other barriers, political, religious, or economic, that still slowed progress, which, I mean, it did. It did.
Yeah.
A lot of that slowed a lot of progress.
So what we do know is this. The Library of Alexandria represented a rare moment in history where knowledge was truly prioritized.
Where access to global ideas, not nationalism or ideology, was the point.
So today, the library lives on not just in legend, but in the symbolism we attach to it.
It represents both human achievement and human failure, the heights of curiosity and the consequences of neglect. Neglect and ignorance.
Yeah, okay, I would agree with that. In many ways, the digital age has revived the dream of Alexandria.
Projects like the Internet Archive, open access journals, and global research collaborations echo the spirit of the Universal Library.
But they also remind us of the risk, as we saw with the loss of early internet content and the removal of media from streaming platforms. Even digital information is far from immortal. I mean,
Right.
we're going to cover that in our lost media episode, which will be coming out soon, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, where does it go?
Where does it go? One corrupted hard drive, one defunded archive, and centuries of content can be lost again.
And there's a deeper, more emotional truth here.
The Library of Alexandria is often romanticized because it represents something many of us long for, a place where knowledge matters more than politics, where learning is sacred, and where curiosity has no borders.
I love that. Curiosity has no borders.
I love that as well.
Yeah.
No, no stigma, no religious persecution, no political
You know, we
gain.
we've been looking for t-shirt slogans. That's a t-shirt slogan. Curiosity has no borders.
Curiosity knows no bounds.
Um, so the destruction feels personal, right? Not just because of what we lost, but because what we imagine what it might have been. It's a symbol of possibility of the world we could have built if we had just protected what we knew.
So, what did we really lose?
Well, it wasn't just scrolls.
And not just stories.
We lost the culture of learning.
A belief that knowledge was worth preserving at all costs. And yet, even in its absence, the library still teaches us.
It reminds us that preservation is not a one-time act. It's an ongoing responsibility for everyone.
Right. Every backup, every book scanned, every forgotten tape digitized is an act of resistance against forgetting.
Yeah. So in the end, the story of the Library of Alexandria isn't just about loss, right?
Right. It's also about legacy.
It's about the dream that didn't die with the last scroll. It lives on every time we choose to value knowledge, don't it?
To share it and to protect it for the future.
Yeah. I thought this was really interesting. I think this will tie in really good with our lost media episode. And like I said, I didn't really want to include it in there because it would have just dragged it out, but
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
pretty much all I've got.
Me too. If you would like to support this podcast, tell a friend and help get the word out.
Yeah. If you would like to help us keep the show going, you can do it so at Patreon. You can find the link in the show notes.
William and I want to thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you.
Join the Facebook group and Info on the Go,
Share with us your show ideas.
or ask us a question.
Subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcast.
Send us a text using the link in the show notes or leave a review.
Email us at,
Infoonthegopodcast@gmail.com.
and yes, that is all one word. Till next time.
Stay curious.